This is Finn's News Network, where we give facts, not nonsense. Okay, so welcome to another edition of the FNN Feed, and today, our main storyline. Mitch McConnell has said that the bipartisan border deal may fall through to, who else? Donald Trump. Apparently, Trump opposes this bill, which is bipartisan, and is looking like it has the votes in both chambers to pass. But there are a lot of Republican senators and congressmen who we know will still unite with Trump and do what Trump says, listen to Trump with every last word like he's God. And so I think that is really leading to that's what McConnell has said. A lot of the senators are unhappy about it, but it seems like that is what. And this is supposed to be a border deal that would ensure some fix-ups for what I think a lot of people in America are calling a crisis down at the border. Okay, so election 2024. So first we can look at polling. Republican National has Trump up by 55 or so points. Those still are pre-DeSantis dropout numbers. Those are still about a week old, but that's still pretty. It looks like Trump is pretty firmly running away with it, as I said yesterday. And the Republicans in South Carolina, it's not horrible. It's about a 30-point gap. So, not as bad as, obviously, if you look up at the Republican National polling, but also not very good. Nikki Haley's put $4 million more into ads. She's got some good donors. I think she can stay alive at least through Super Tuesday, which will help her because she's got some good delegates to win, but it is a question of will she really enjoy. Democratic National polling, Joe Biden currently leads by about 63 or so points over his two challengers, Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips. Nikki Haley says her super PAC outraised Donald Trump between July and December 2023. That is pretty significant. And as I said, she's got the money to keep going in this race. And the last thing I want to touch on, Nevada has a very complicated Republican primary. There was either the caucus or the primary. Now, it was decided really after the registration date that Republicans could, that the primary would not award delegates. So the only two people on the ballot in the caucuses are Donald Trump and Ryan Binkley, that 60-year-old Texas pastor, which means that Donald Trump is probably going to take a very large percent of the vote. The caucus, while Nikki Haley will probably win the primary as it's mail-in, and it is just her, Tim Scott, and Mike Pence. Yes, those two still remain on the ballot. Okay, so the United States news and stocks for January 25th. Donald Trump took the stand at the E. Jean Carroll defamation trial. E. Jean Carroll is trying to get about $10 million out of Trump for defaming her after her sexual assault claims. Very brief, about 5 minutes. Trump didn't say anything crazy, or else you probably would have heard about it by now. Stocks, the Dow was up about 250 points today, setting another record high. NASDAQ was up about 0.2%, and the S&P closed higher for a sixth straight day, up about 25 points. So here's your sports roundup for the day, and yes, we will have an NFL Conference Championship preview coming out for you on Saturday. The Los Angeles Chargers have hired Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh to be their next head coach. That's a pretty significant hiring. Harbaugh was the top candidate this year in the head coaching race. Similarly, this came out very recently. The Falcons have hired Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris to be their head coach. He's proven really well, and he's probably going to guide, whoever the Falcons decide to go with at quarterback next year, whether it's a Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins, or it's a draft of Penix or Nix, or they trade up for Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels. And the Australian Open Women's Final, Qinwen Zhang won her match this morning, and Arna Sabalenka knocked off Coco Gauff to set up that final in Australia. That will be on Saturday. And finally, a look at the weather across the nation. The United States high temperatures for the day, pretty similar to yesterday. Still kind of a lot of rain, especially, on the east coast of the country. There can be some record lows maybe set tonight, 50 in Boston, 55 in New York, and really raining. And down south, Atlanta, still looking at 2 to 3 more inches of rain. It's really been it's annoying, and it's consistent, and it's really muggy. And tomorrow's temperature is going to be very warm. We could see even up by DC in the 70s. New York could reach the 60s. It's going to be a pretty warm day tomorrow, a lot of it down south. Now, if you're up north, could be probably some normal temperatures, 20s, 30s, especially in kind of the Rocky Mountain area. This has been FNN, where we get facts, not nonsense. Thank you for watching.